Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, the channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. Fam, you know what? It feels like spending money right now is a bad move for me right now. And like I said, I'm just sitting here stacking paper. At least trying to. My version of stacking paper. Sitting here, paying these credit cards and, things like that and the other stuff that just popped up, that random shit, and I wanted to buy something the other day and I'm like, man, I seen something that I really wanted and I just had to leave it there. That shit happens sometimes. You sit there and this is one of the reasons why, I just stopped collecting because there's so many things popping up. And, I want to be true to my words, telling people to pay their bills and things like that. But, like I said, every now and then, man, you need to also buy yourself something, treat yourself. Otherwise, you lose your damn mind doing this, because, like I said, you working every day of your life. You at work more than you are at home. Basically, when you come home, you sleep to prepare yourself to go right back to work. Your weekends go by so fast. Um, you got to do things that bring you joy. Like I said, pick up yourself something sometimes. Go out to eat sometimes. Buy yourself something from the restaurant. Oh no, man, that shit is too much. You getting the wrong advice. People should just be saving, saving, saving. But you just can't do that. You still need to live. Quality of life is a whole nother thing. You in here having a horrible life, you'll go crazy. You in here not doing some of the stuff that you want to do, that you see some of the things that you see people doing, may not be anything big. Shit, you might just want to go to Cleveland, Ohio. Man, I just want to go to Cleveland, Ohio. I seen the Drew Carey show and I always wanted to go there. And that was one of my big things. That was on my bucket list. I want to go to Cleveland, Ohio. Then go. I'm not telling you, stop paying shit, don't pay your rent. I'm not telling you none of that. I'm telling you to pay your most important bills. Pay on some of this stuff. Your rent, your light, your gas, your utilities, your car note, gas in your car, your car insurance, your health insurance. I'm telling you to pay all that shit. Student loans, credit cards. Shit, if you need to pay the minimum to still stay afloat, that's okay. Shit, sometimes that's all people got is the bare minimum to pay. Sometimes you don't even got that. I think a lot of people are not thinking. You sitting here thinking everybody making six figures, bro. That shit ain't happening. It's not happening nowhere around here. I know people who do make six figures. I know a lot of people that make six figures, but I'm not one of them. And I'm not mad at them. But my whole thing is, you got to stay in between your means. You can't be looking at somebody else and say, look at all this stuff they doing. They've been on 50 trips this year. You sitting there thinking, look at the money they got. They got a whole different lane you don't have. And this is why I say you got to pay attention. You got to stay in your means, bro. This is one of the reasons why I kicked back and said this collecting thing got to stop for a minute. Because I was sitting here thinking, all that money I was spending buying toys, man, I was buying toys left and right. I said, man, if I could save some of that, you know how crazy this would be? If I could save some of that money. And guess what? I stopped. I'm paying on shit. Getting stuff knocked down real hard. I could see the difference now. And my whole thing is, man, it's not forever, but sometimes it's bad for now. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. I think a lot of people think when you quit, it got to be something, uh, you know, something whereas you just stop. And, oh man, he gonna start back and, and it's gonna be, man, I look forward to that day my damn self. But, for right now, I gotta take care of shit, man. And it ain't always things that you want to do. People don't understand. When I was talking about the house situation, man, you still got to stack more paper for that. People don't get that. People don't understand, that anything that you want is going to cost you. It's going to cost you a hell of a lot. Home ownership is not a joke. It's not for the weak, and it's not for the people who think it's just you paying a mortgage. No, it's way more than that. The first 5 years of you owning a home sometimes is the worst because that's when all the shit go wrong. Them first 5 years, and you had a thorough inspection of the house. They can't peek through walls. Now they can, but before they couldn't. They couldn't tell you what was in the wall. So, my biggest thing right now is we doing what we doing. And like I said, with that process being done, man, look, I'm looking at it like, shit, I'm not really pushing no more. I'm not really looking to overdo it. I'm just looking just to sit here and be the fuck quiet. You know, Trying to figure out what's my next move. You know, is this it for us? Or are we destined to go somewhere else? Or are we going to do? A lot of people say, hey, leave Chicago. But you can't make the money that you think you can living somewhere else. A lot of places don't pay what Chicago pay. And just being honest, a lot of places don't pay what Chicago pay. They pay what's for that way of life where they live. In that particular state, they pay for that way of life. Now, again, to be honest, I live within my means. I think my wife lives in her means. People say, man, but you got all that stuff behind you. It didn't happen overnight. And see, that's what I think a lot of people misunderstand about collecting. They think all the stuff you got happened in one night. You bought it all at the same damn time, and that's how it all works. No, dude, piece at a time. It all adds up over a period of time. Like I was telling you, when you buying stuff from Ross, $2 and $3 a piece. You buying Marvel Legends for $6. You buying, something for $10. That all adds up. It don't look like nothing, in the beginning, but it all adds up. And this is where we go from there. But, that's a lot. And I just want you to think about it. It's just a lot. It's, me working on a whole bunch of things and trying to just make shit right. Like I said, I need a lot of people to just feel where I'm going with this, man. It's not me trying to tear down anybody or, but for right now, I think it's really stick a fork in it because, I'm feeling it. It's not like the joy ain't there no more. You may see somebody send me some stuff and I'll review it and show you what I got, but as far as right now coming from me, dude, I just got a lot of other shit on my plate that I'm more focused on right now. And man, when the reviews come, they will. But right now, they just not there. Collecting will be there, bro. But I gotta make sure everything with me and my wife is okay. And my kids, bro. But just keeping that 100. You gotta make sure that all the most important things are well taken care of before you start working. Working on wants and shit like that. This is a want. This is a hobby. This is a luxury. This is not, the real deal Holyfield. Something that you looking at and be like, man, this is the end all that's gonna be all. You just collecting and there's no repercussions behind it. Spend, spend, spend. This is how we get ourselves in debt. Just buying shit we don't really need. Man, please. I think a lot of y'all could relate to me right now. I believe a lot of people can relate to the shit I'm saying because I believe a lot of people can feel it. It's just there. It's just, we all just been upset and angry about everything. And I just want you to know that, I'm there for you. You can reach me on Facebook Messenger. You can reach me in a group on Facebook. I have Instagram, TikTok. You can reach me at all those places, bro. You can reach me at my email. It's in, the description, of the channel itself. Man, I'm just saying, with everything going on, we all need to stick together and be each other's support system, man, because, I'm just sitting here just scratching my head at this. Like, what is really going on? Like, soon as you get one thing done, here comes something else. So I'm just like, for a minute, collecting has to take a back seat till I get the other things situated. Man, it's bad for now with that. But till later, peace out.